Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And in this one, I'm going to be going over the Fire Mage and should you or should you not pick it as a main, because the specializations of Mage have been a hot topic. Which ones are rising to the top, which ones are falling to the bottom, which ones are fun, which ones are interesting moving forward. So I'm going to be revealing a lot of the mystery when it comes to conduits to look at, legendaries to look at, and what is the most exciting parts of Fire Mage, what are some of the downsides of Fire Mage before you make the big jump into selecting it as your main specialization. So Fire Mage has been a pretty good Mythic Plus specialization for some time throughout the history of the game. It's been a decent rating specialization as well, but moving into Shadowlands, just as a little bit of truth forward, Frost is pulling ahead. It would seem in Mythic Plus, Arcane is a much better solo PvP specialization performer. But in my mind, Fire Mage is just as good as it was. Moving from Battle for Azeroth, moving forward, you're still going to be able to make it work. It's still functioning quite heavily around combustion, where you can pretend to be a flame-on superhero. You're going to be gaining the benefits of Rune of Power activating during combustion in Battle for Azeroth for even bustier big burst, so you can look forward to that, and you're still going to be one of the heaviest bursting specializations in the game. The main playstyle appears to be at the moment in reducing the cooldown of your combustion through legendaries and other effects, so that you can gain access to that big burst cooldown. You're going to be gaining a lot of defense. However, it's important to note that that defense it's limited into the future. You're probably going to ding max level, maybe jump into some PvP and get run over for a little bit. But as you unlock your conduits, and more importantly, a legendary that we'll get to, you will notice that you are very tanky, very durable. You're going to still synergize well in PvP with rogues, and Disciplined Priest doing great as well as rogues means that you will have a place in that specific composition when it comes to 3v3. In 3v3 may not see Fire Mage and double Spellcaster anymore. Greater Pyroblast has a cooldown. If you were a fan of that ability, you may want to be considering a different big blasting, hard casting specialization than fire for PvP specifically. But mirror images are returning, and they're going to provide you 20% damage reduction. That's already an amazing bonus just to have off the top. And for Covenants specifically, I've decided that I would want to go after Night Fae if I were to select a Fire Mage. And the main reason for that is shifting power. A 1 minute cooldown, you're going to draw power from the ground, dealing damage around you. And then while channeling, you will recover your mage abilities faster. So you'll do a big channel, and you can see my combustion in the bottom recovering off cooldown, so I can go for even more bursty hits. I think the synergy between that, this amazing AoE effect in PvE, is super fun and awesome. And additionally, you're going to get some added mobility. This is going to be very useful for escaping melee attackers, repositioning, and still saving onto your blinks. So if you wanted more blinks, you can get more blinks, basically, as a Night Fae Fire Mage, whether it's aggressive plays or defensive plays in PvP, or just getting around the Maw, because, oh my god, is it a pain to get around the Maw at the moment, if you're interested in that solo type of content. But let's jump into the conduits specifically, as this is something that's very confusing, I think, for a lot of us, and we all just trying to figure out what should I be going after, what should I be locking in. As the Night Fae, much like the Warlocks, you're going to have a lot of choice in my mind between Soulbind conduits. But specifically, looking at Endurance, you have quite a few options. You've got quite a lot of delectable little treats available to you in these conduits. You can have your Ice Block heal you. So if you want a massive recovery effect from your Ice Block, do note that Ice Block is a very long cooldown, so you're only going to really see this once in an engagement, but it is quite a massive heal. Diverted Energy is going to cause your barriers to heal for 25% of the damage absorbed. This would be my personal recommendation due to a legendary when we get to it. And then finally, we have Tempest Barrier. You gain a shield that absorbs 4% of your maximum health for 15 seconds after you blink. Right now, our maximum health isn't that high like it was in Battle for Azeroth, so these percent health effects aren't as strong, but it's something to keep your eye on in PvP specifically, or if you just wanted a little bit of an extra shield recovery. But in my mind, what stands out the most is the synergy of Diverted Energy with a legendary. For finesse, you have also a lot of choice here. You can run reduced cooldown blink. So you want more blinks and faster blinks, you're going to be all over the place, moving quite fast. That's what was most appealing to me. However, if you're very good at landing your interrupt, then grounding surge may be one that you want to go after. Successfully interrupting an enemy with counterspell reduces its cooldown by 2.5 seconds, and this conduit at higher ranks will reduce it further than 2.5 seconds. So if you're somebody who likes landing interrupts and being aggressive and shutting people down, you're going to want to go for that. So movement or shutdown, you got a lot of choice to make. These are the conduits that stood out to me. Personal recommendation would be flow of time for finesse. Potency, we're going to be looking at specifically the conduit to do with shifting power, your Night Fae ability. This will allow you also to multi-spec. If you put the potency conduit in one of your first trees, you will be able to multi-spec more easily. And then I recommend allocating your second potency conduit towards your specializations conduit. So this way you can multi-spec for the first bit and then interchange this one out a little bit later on. And that's Infernal Cascade. While combustion is active, your Fire Blast grants you 9% increased fire damage for 5 seconds, stacking 2 times, 18% more fire damage. You reduce the cooldown of it with shifting power. In PvP, you've got PvP talents as well to reduce the cooldown of your combustion. You're going to be lighting Sweet Cheeks up when it comes to PvE or PvP really at the moment in Shadowlands. And the additional benefit of running the Night Fae is that all the other conduits have some interesting effects as well, with Pod Tender being a cheat death. You want more cheat deaths, maybe a little bit overkill for Fire Mage already having Cauterize. When you activate Shifting Power, you'll gain haste. Not massively beneficial. You'd much rather get Mastery. So Pod Tender being more of like this kind of fun, cheeky, extra cheat death effect. But Korain specifically, you're going to be getting 10% increased damage to targets above 75% health. You start an engagement with Combustion, 10% more damage on that pull in a dungeon, or just at the start of a burst window in PvP. That's a free 10% damage, and you'll also be taking 3% less damage from all targets thanks to Korain. So to me, Korain and Naya stand out excellently, whether it's PvE or PvP, which really rounds out the Night Fae Covenant as a selection for Shadowlands. If you are worried about what Covenant to go after, what do I do? Additionally, you're going to be getting the benefit of Alter Time. Alter Time is going to basically just suspend you in time, your health, everything. And if you activate it to go back, you'll recover your health and your original position. Very fun ability, right? And it's usable in PvE, but you have lost Temporal Shield from your Honor talent, so this is more or less replacing it on a longer cooldown, but it's more interesting and has different outplay value than Temporal Shield. So for myself personally, I enjoy this spell more. I think it's more engaging, but you may notice some defensive downsides from your loss of Honor talents. However, you more than make up for it here moving into the Legendary powers. These ones are pretty nuts. Specifically, the Triune Ward is what's been standing out to me as it's been buffed time after time. This is a legendary that when you cast your barrier, you also get the barriers from your other specs at 65% effectiveness. So you get 3 shields. You see that conduit we were talking about earlier? It's going to heal you when you get all those 3 shields. This is excellent for things like Torghast. This is excellent for world PvP. This is excellent for PvP in general. Obviously, you're not going to get a massive benefit in your parsing in raids or Mythic Plus. So this is more of a defense solo player experience legendary or a heavily PvP focused legendary. Aside from that, you may be wanting to look at, after consuming 12 hot streaks, your next non-instant Pyroblast cast within 15 seconds grants you Combustion for 5 seconds, the Sun King's Blessing. This way you will be getting Combustion even more frequently, which is going to be very fun when it comes to pulling trash mobs. But in PvP, good luck, have fun hard casting a normal Pyroblast. So you do have a little bit of a difficulty when it comes to selecting your legendaries for PvE or PvP. Again, without Triune Ward, I think you will be very fragile in PvP and have a difficult time in solo content like Torghast or the Maw. So for a player like myself, who doesn't look to raid actively and maybe jumps into a dungeon every once in a while, Triune Ward is a lot more appealing personally. But if you focus less on PvP, then you may want to go after the legendaries that have to do with buffing your fire damage or reducing the cooldown of your combustion, as that's basically everything that Fire Mage is about. So in my mind, you should expect Fire Mage to be transitioning over in a similar spot, maybe with the loss of your bracers and the loss loss of essences. I could see that as like a bit of a significant power drop. But overall play style, I think it's still in a basically its same position as Battle for Azeroth. And you can enjoy some of these returning abilities like Alter Time and Mirror Images on top of a lot of the defense-oriented builds in the Conduits and the Legendaries to crush your foes in PvE and PvP. If you enjoyed the video here, please leave it with a thumbs up. Comment down below with your thoughts on the Fire Mage and what specialization you're looking at specifically in Shadowlands. I'd love to hear it. If you like this type of content, then please hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free, and it just notifies you when my videos go live, as I'm uploading very frequently, and I am keeping my eyes on any blue posts to immediately upload videos on what's changed. Oh no, is your specialization suddenly in the gutter? Is this suddenly a god tier specialization? I'm on it. I am monitoring this stuff all of the time, and I will upload it to you as soon as it's available. And you can save yourself the time of reading through the text, but I'll have the text linked as well if you want to check it out personally. And all that information is available here on this channel. I'm going to link to some tier lists and other videos if you're interested in inspecting other specializations for Shadowlands. That information is all here on this channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.